Hello, happy Friday, my girls. I'm here. So listen, today is a big topic because we all deal with it, and that is the topic of cravings driving you insane. Right? You've been there, you are there now. And this is what it looks like. It looks like I feel so undisciplined. Why am I doing this? Right? And then hey Sandy, what you know for sure is that you want the goal. You're a disciplined person, but these cravings are sabotaging you and it makes you feel so powerless. So as you come on, say hi to me. We're going to knock this topic out together. Kelly's here. Hi, girl. I miss ya. We're going to get you to where, listen to me. I need you to know that you have power over this. And so by the end of this video, you're going to have several easy, practical things that you can do, and you can start today to nip the cravings in the bud. That's what we're doing today. I'm giving you practical things to stop the cravings before they start, because once they start, forget about it. It's all about the chocolate. And you are not going to stop me. So today, practical ways to fend off cravings. Let's go. What I need you to know is that first of all, you are not alone. I cannot tell you the number of women and the condition that I've been in my own self on occasion. And that is this feeling of this. Tell me if you can identify. I am so undisciplined. That's just it. I lack discipline. And all of a sudden, here comes the inner critic, right? This is what you do. You call it a craving, but what it really is just you not working your program, right? And so the first thing I need for you to hear me say is that cravings are not just about discipline. They're not. It is actual physiology. And so what I want you to do, step number one, is shut off the inner critic. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, you put inner critic down there, put me, whatever it is. And what I need you to know is that once you learn what's going on, you'll realize how stupid that inner critic is. So teaching, everyone's saying hi to me. Hi girls, it's just us. It's a rainy Friday morning. So here's how you get your power back. First thing is to realize that it's not just about your willpower. Sometimes it is, and we're going to talk about that, but there is physiology. There are two key players, and they're not going to shock you, in the physiology of cravings. And I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I do feel like you need, in order to get your power back, you need to know what's going on in your brain and in your body and realize it's just not you being stupid, okay? So there are two key players, hormones, shocker, and two neurotransmitters, amongst others. And they are, and you've heard of these, and a lot of this might be a recap for you, but let's remember what's going on, okay? The key players in the neurotransmitters are serotonin. It's also a misnomer because it's not a hormone, but you also hear it called the happy hormone. It's not a hormone. It's a neurotransmitter that's produced in your gut. When that gets wonky, you absolutely crave things that will stabilize your mood and produce happy feelings, right? We've been there. Coziness, that type of thing. The second neurotransmitter is dopamine. We always talk about nowadays, especially on our phones and in social media, talk about getting a dopamine hit. It's the reason we keep going back to our phones, is because somehow our brain likes what we see over and over. So same thing, dopamine, while serotonin is the happy chemical, dopamine is the reward center, right? Sandy knows what I'm talking about. All you psychology girls. So dopamine will also cause cravings if it's low. And we're going to talk about how to fix those issues. Because that is all about pleasure and reward. And so when your body is lacking that chemical, you're going to find it with a craving. It's pretty cool, actually, the science of that we're designed in such a way that when something's missing, we'll find it. Tell me I'm wrong. And then your ghrelin, your leptin are the other two hormones that really, ghrelin gives you hunger signals, and that will get wonked out. And then leptin is your fullness. Like we talk about listening to your hunger cues. Ghrelin and leptin are what we're talking about with those. So those are the main players: serotonin, dopamine, ghrelin, leptin. Those are all influenced in your body by things like hormones shifting. Sorry, stupid estrogen and progesterone. Once again, they strike. So when those get wonky, you'll crave things because it's messing up what we just talked about: your ghrelin, your leptin, your neurotransmitters. The second way that these get wonked out is, listen to me, and we're going to do a whole series on this, is your gut microbiome. It's called that because your gut is full of gabillions of bacteria, healthy bacteria. And when those get wonked out, you'll crave things. So hormones, your gut being messed up, your blood sugar dropping, you can have full-on nutrient deficiencies that will cause you to crave things. That's a natural God design there. You know, when I was pregnant with Gavin, we lived over in Europe, and I would eat, listen, this nutrient deficiency perfection, bags and bags of plums. And I couldn't get enough. And it was a deficiency. So that's an example of that. And then, of course, things that will wonk out your dopamine, your serotonin, are your emotions and your stress level. So this is physiology. It's not, listen, girl, it's not just you being undisciplined and, oh, you messed up again. No, it's physiology and it's fixable. So questions so far. This is science for real. Hi, Kim's here. Sandy says, great explanations. Thank you, my psychology expert. Karen says, it was beef while I was pregnant. Yes, right. So you were probably a little bit anemic, or your body needed creatine, whatever it is. I think it's great. You know what a science nerd I am. So that's the physiology of it. Now, flip side is sometimes it's not physiological, it's psychological. And we're not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but truly we've discussed emotional eating. We've discussed the ritual of food. If, like for me, if every day at 3 o'clock, you know, my little cookie and my coffee routine, I've talked about it many, many times. What if that routine at 3 o'clock was a cinnamon roll? I get the dopamine hit from it, I get the serotonin hit from it, and I also get 450 calorie hit from it, right? So it can be that the craving comes because of ritual. This is where it gets plugged in. This is where my dopamine hit comes. Just make sure that your ritual fits into your health, into your calorie requirements, and doesn't go over. And then the psychology of cravings is very often related to, what is going on here? My girls, is very often related to restriction, right? We've talked a lot about how when we restrict things, immediately what happens? We want them more, right? We have to have the thing that we're saying, I'm never eating that again. Well, yeah, you are. You're going to eat the whole thing. So restriction can lead to cravings for sure. So, what else? Anybody else can think of one? Put it in the chat. Talk to me. You know I love it. So that's the physiology. It's all about hormones and neurotransmitters, and and then the psychology is about your relationship to food and your ability to cope, right? So regardless of the reasons why and what's going on, what can you do about it? Let's get really super practical on how we listen to me, nip it in the bud. I keep saying that, but how we get ahead of cravings, because once the cravings hit, you're kind of are a victim to whatever your brain and your body are saying. I need this, it's good luck with that. So what we're trying to do, hi Heidi, what we're trying to do is to get ahead of the craving, and this is how you do it. In the way of those neurotransmitters, serotonin and dopamine, the first thing that you need to look at, and you're probably not going to guess this, is self-care. What? What does cravings and self-care have to do with each other? I'll tell you. So the way that we get serotonin and dopamine are as follows, and they're separate, but I'll dump them all together. Let's not. Serotonin, sunlight. What? Yes. So your brain needs sunlight to produce the serotonin in your gut. Go figure that out. So exercise, both dopamine and serotonin. The more you move, the more those neurotransmitters are balanced to avoid the cravings, right? Serotonin's all about meditation and being present, purposeful gratitude. Think about that. That happy chemical that your brain needs, that's produced in your gut, happens when you are intentionally grateful and intentionally present. I think that's pretty cool. And that fends off cravings. Go figure. It's amazing science. The other thing with, I loved this one. The other thing that can increase your serotonin is a massage. Go tell your husband or whoever it is, like, I'm low on serotonin. I'm going to have to go get a massage. Sorry, I know. But it's true. So when your serotonin is low, if you go get sunlight and move a little bit and end your day in a massage, your cravings will be lower. With dopamine, things like, and this is essential, self-care, adequate sleep gives you the dopamine that you need. This is one of my favorites. Listening to music gives you the dopamine that you need. Social interaction, completing tasks. So things like doing well at work or cleaning your house, anything where you can see the before and after, gives your brain the chemicals that are necessary for you to not crave bad crap. I just think it's so, it's just so, if this is surprising to you, put it down there. I'm curious to see if you knew this already. So Sandy says, my mom briefly went back to smoking to try to beat food cravings, danger of harmful substitute. Love your examples like exercise. Yes, that's excellent, Sandy. So you can get a dopamine hit from, in fact, one of the things listed is alcohol for dopamine, cigarettes for dopamine, being addicted, any sort of addiction to your phone, that's dopamine. But you can meet those if you just go exercise, get good sleep, have great relationships. That's another dopamine hit, is social interaction. And Sandy says, I'm cleaning closets and listening. You're getting a dopamine hit, Sandy. You're not going to crave anything. So the cool part of this is that by your first task, girl, is listen to me, is self-care. When you are caring well for yourself, your cravings will decrease. So I'm going to stop right here and say this because I forgot to say it in the beginning. If you want this information, and it's a lot, emailed to you, put your email down in the comments or DM me and I'll zip it over to you. If I already have emailed you in the past, I don't need your email. Just put, you can just put email in the comments and I'll zip it over. You don't need to give it to me again. And it'll be a concise summary of the things that you can do to balance all this out so you don't crave stuff. All right, so that's the first thing, is self-care. Good sleep, sunshine, great music, great relationships, massage, all of that. That will decrease cravings. Number two, of course, we need a nutrition strategy. You're not going to be shocked when I tell you that you need a balanced meal, a balanced diet every day of your life. So we're looking at protein, complex carb, healthy fats, enough fiber, all of that all day long, trickled in. Every 3.5 to 4 hours, you should be nourishing your body with balanced nutrition. That's a no-brainer. That leads to, your blood sugar being stable, your gut being healthy, which is where serotonin is produced, remember. So number one is obvious. Balance your meals out. And number two, listen, eat enough and without restriction. So remember, part of your nutrition strategy needs to not be, I can't ever eat chocolate, because then you're going to go eat all the chocolate you can find, right? So make sure you're not starving. Make sure that when you eat, it is balanced, and make sure that you are giving yourself treats here and there. We've already talked about that. They have their place. You're not to overdo that. But as soon as you restrict, you're going to have a craving, otherwise known as a big fat binge, right? I want you, for your gut health, and again, we're going to do a whole series on this. I want you to make sure you're getting enough fiber, between 20, usually talk to your doctor, but between 20 and 30 grams a day, and increase your fermented foods. So what that will do is add the right prebiotics and probiotics to your gut. Your gut microbiome and its health is essential to fending off cravings. So add fermented foods, make sure that you're getting enough fiber, which you probably are. If you're following me and you're eating the vegetables that you're supposed to eat, you're probably fine. But look hard at that. And then, of course, the thing I want you to know is that processed foods, listen, even if they fit within the calorie guardrails, that if you've been my client, or you are my client, or you're doing it on your own, even if processed sugary foods fit within your calorie deficit, they destroy your gut microbiome. I don't know if you knew that. So things like soda, things like just anything chemical laden and processed is going to work against a healthy gut, which works against good serotonin production, which leads to cravings, right? So look at a balanced meal, balanced diet full of protein and fiber and vegetables, all of the things, no restriction, and make sure that you are limiting, though, when I say no restriction, I mean, don't be dumb, but you are really limiting. It's rare that you have a full-on processed, box of cheese its. My husband drinks those. No, I'm like, put it down. So, so limit those processed foods for sure. So any other comments? This went by pretty quick. I was trying not to inundate you with my nerdy science, but I do feel like it's essential that you know what's going on so that you stop being so negative about, your own discipline and your own inability, all of that crap. No, you're fine. So recap, unless there's questions. The recap is this. Serotonin and dopamine, along with your appetite hormones, ghrelin and leptin, are the major players in cravings. You have the power to balance those with, number one, self-care. And number two, the right nourishment of your body on a regular basis. It really is that simple. That is the way that you stay ahead of cravings. So the last thing that I'll add, and it's not in my notes, but I want to say this, is what happens when you are in the middle of a craving. The bottom line is, here's some hacks for you. I want you to do, I think a lot of places, or a lot of psychology call it crave surfing. And what that means is that you just delay just look at your watch and say, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to wait 10 minutes before I go eat that gallon of ice cream. Just 10 minutes. And see if you can do it. And a lot of times what will happen is it'll pass. So just surf that powerful craving for even just a few minutes, and it likely will go away. The second hack for you is to use my Smart Swap system. And that is, okay, if I can't have a gallon of ice cream, maybe I can have my high protein yogurt and add some stuff to it to make it a little bit sweeter, like my chocolate protein powder or whatever. Thirdly, go ahead and have a little bit. So if you're craving chocolate, oh my God, then just have a little bit of chocolate. It's not going to derail you completely unless you eat all of it, the whole box or the whole bar or the whole gallon, right? So it might be best for you, especially if you're someone who deals you struggle with restricting yourself, go ahead and have a taste. Just you can't have all of it, right? So what else in the way? And then just mindful eating. That's another hack. That's my fourth hack for you, is just while you're eating, outside of a craving, if you're just present, don't be on your phone, don't be watching TV, just be where you are, tasting your food. And what this is, the point of this is first of all, presence. You know that being present where you are increases serotonin, which stops cravings, you know, when your meal is done. But what that also does is it gives you a connection to your ghrelin and your leptin, your hunger cues. Like, okay, if I was watching TV or if I was scrolling on my phone while I'm eating, I don't even know, okay, am I full? Oh my gosh, I'm already full, right? So being present. So smart swaps, being present, there, and then surfing that, putting that craving off for 10, 15 minutes to see if it goes away, and then tasting. You know, you can have a little bit, just not all of it. Those are the hacks that you can use right in the middle of a craving. So any other questions? I buy mini Hershey nuggets. Yes. Anything small like that, you kind of have to be careful because I'll have 12 of them and think they're small, they're calorie free, right? No. So, but for a taste, I love it. Yes. Excellent. Or even lower calorie options, like my little 100 calorie bars, totally satisfy me. So anybody else, you can do this. But you have to be a little bit more strategic and on it, intentional with it, in order to stay ahead of the craving. You know, to try to get in the middle of it and do all the things is harder for sure. So again, if you want the email summary of this, and I don't already have your email, if I don't have your email, DM me your email or drop it in the comments. If I've already emailed you and I have it, just put email and I'll send it right over to the address that I have. So I am doing more email and putting exclusive content there because it's just easier. And because I'm not, I'm not dependent on social media to allow it to be seen or not. It's me and you, and I can just send you what I think that you would benefit from in the way of recipes and in the way of tips like this. So if you are not on my email list, I highly recommend it. It's booming and I'm loving it. And it will eventually, I'm sure it will turn into a blog, which I've been asked to write. So, but right now it's just me giving you fun, exclusive tips and content and stuff. So check your email. And if I don't have your address, let me have it. So, I love ya. I'm with you. If you have any questions, if you need any help at all, you know where to find me. I'm here, and I absolutely, it's my honor to guide you through this stuff. It doesn't always have to be hard and negative. It can be enjoyable, and it can fit into your life and give you power back. And that's what I am all about. So you girls have a good weekend. Keep it between the rails and enjoy it. Enjoy your food. Stay hydrated, and I'll talk to you next week. See ya.